Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase. Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer from Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Gery Woelfel from the Racine Journal-Times, head football coach at St. Cat's. He is Dan Miller. Coach, thanks a lot for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about the new conferences you guys were in last year. Everybody talks about the ramifications it had on basketball going into last season. Football doesn't get nearly as much love about how it affected you guys. How did it affect you guys?
Well, we really liked it. Basically what happened is the year before we had the Midwest Classic. We had a South Division. We had a North Division. The North Division generally had smaller populated schools.
Right.
So what we did is we just took that South Division and added Dominican, St. Thomas More, another bigger school. Actually, they're the biggest school in our Metro Classic Conference right now. And what it did is it gave us more competition and really prepared us for the playoffs. And that was really evident when we had 4 teams make the playoffs and each team do very well in the playoffs as well.
You think this conference is here to stay now, or do you think there's going to be revamps like they're having in the past? WIA has juggled southeastern Wisconsin quite a bit.
Yeah,
not only in your conference, but other conferences.
Right.
As well.
I think right now, the way it's set up, the type of schools that we have, the sports, not just in football, but the boys and girls sports are very strong with all the schools. So,
right.
I think it's definitely a very strong conference right now.
Coach, looking at last year's team being a playoff team that you guys were coming back into this year, how are you guys looking for this year?
Well, we lost 4 great seniors. We lost Eric Isle, Defensive Player of the Year. He was also a starting center for us. We lost Lucas Connaughton, started at one of our running back, our fullback position, and outside linebacker Andy Lech, which was several years starter at both same positions. And then we lost a very excellent wide receiver in Cody Ortiz that actually caught. You were at that game, I think.
Yep.
He caught some crucial, third down catches, and that really helped us sustain that drive and keep that lead.
Now,
there.
do you want to see a smile on his face? Now, who do you have coming back?
Well, we only lost. The thing is, we only lost 4.
There you go.
We only lost 4.
There we
they
go.
were very good, and it definitely really, took on the mission and the characteristics of our program.
Sure.
I mean, they really lived and bled St. Catherine's football. But we have 8 returning seniors, all starters, 6 juniors that all started. So we got 14 solid starters that have excellent experience, 3-4 years on the varsity level.
Now, I don't know if this is going to be a bad question because I didn't ask him if I could ask this or not prior.
You never have any bad questions.
No, but this is kind of a situation, in my opinion, you may disagree being the football guy, where it's kind of like a college program where you have a really strong basketball program, and then the football program, regardless of what they do, they're still always known kind of like for the basketball program. And then I always get concerned when that happens.
ACC, you're saying?
Right, but when you get to the basketball, when you get to the high school side, for me, in all the stories I've heard, it gets treacherous. Because if it is known for one or the other, and it's that dominant, powerful coach that's been there forever, Coach Lech. But when he's there, you always worry, I would imagine coming in from a football perspective, you've been there for a number of years, that is he going to stop those basketball players from coming out for football to continue his role? And I saw Lech at football games for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It appears at least he's there and he's very supportive.
Oh, definitely. As we have, Andy Lech, grandson of his. We also currently have 2 other of his grandsons, Jack and Ethan. Ethan's an incoming freshman for us. So yeah, he's around practice quite a bit, and definitely supports us a lot. And I think just the stability, me being there for 10 years now. He definitely knows I'm in it as long as I can be, and with the feeder program we've had for a number of years, that's something that we want to continue to maintain.
What's the weight program like?
We have a dynamic weight program as well as a speed program in the summer. Basically, we start a week after the football season is over. So, the kids are chomping at the bit right now to, after the loss to Brillion, they were ready to get back at it, and they did so. I mean, we had 20 kids, solid throughout the winter, the spring, and then summer I run a speed and strength camp Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The first Monday and Wednesday we spent about an hour and a half speed work, not conditioning, just straight speed, and then we wrap it up with a weight program, and then Wednesday or Fridays what we do is I take the boys down to the beach and we run the hill. We run in the sand.
That's
we do a
awesome.
sand workout. We also put in a water workout.
One of Racine's hidden gems, the beach. We were talking about that at
North
breakfast
Beach.
this morning. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous down there?
Yeah, it is, and the boys really love Fridays. I mein, they're all coming. Friday could be just a blow-off day,
Sure.
but they love coming down there. We have a great time. It's really laid back. I tell them, hey, summertime, I'm just a speed and strength coach. I'm not your head coach.
Right.
Let's have some fun. Let's really build some relationships here. And I also have an assistant that helps out, Scott McAuliffe.
So hold on a second. Let's talk about your background, because a lot of times in high school football, you hear about high school football programs bringing in that speed or strength guy to do workouts with their teams, whatever the case may be, like one workout or two workouts a summer to put in programs, and that's it. You're talking about, I do it all myself. This is my deal.
Right.
So what's your background prior to doing this that you're able to do it all on your own?
I played football at Park High School. Sure. I was on the state championship team, and Dennis Thompson, the Park football coach right now. I mean, he came in and during those years that I was there, and really instilled a weight room work ethic with myself and my teammates and so on, and showed me a lot of those things to do and how to do it properly. So I owe a lot to Dennis Thompson as far as the conditioning. And then, going into college, I played at Northern Michigan, free safety, learned the speed aspect of it. I also, ran track at Park as well. And then right after I got done playing college football, then Coach Dobbs asked me to start helping out coach there. So right in '95,
well, you've had a lot of good coaches.
I've been going, I've been rolling, and you just get on that YouTube and you go to clinics. You learn more and more about what the best are doing, and you incorporate a little bit here and there, and you hone it into your own little program.
Yeah. Now this is your 10th season at St. Catharines.
Correct.
When you took over this program, let's face it, it wasn't in the best of shape. And it took you how many years before you really felt like you had some traction to, put into your program?
That first year we took them right to the playoffs. So it was one of their first winning seasons, I believe. First time in the WIA that they went to the playoffs. And then we had a couple years where we were 4-5. Not so much of a buy-in to that weight program, the speed program. And then 2007, that's when we really set
Took
sail
off,
and got to the semifinal game with 13, phenomenal seniors that they were my first freshmen. So they heard it for the first time, and that really stuck. We struggled a year here and there after that, but now we have this senior and junior class that have really bought in, just like that senior class in 2007.
Now that you've been there 10 years, that's a long time, a decade. 10 years. What's it like? I mean, are you trying to create that family atmosphere where former players, when they graduate and stuff, and they want to come back and help, that they're able to come back and help the program and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Right now my offensive line coach, Scott McAuliffe, he was a senior in 2004.
Okay.
And he's my offensive line coach, JV offensive coordinator, and he's been with us now since a few years out of college. He's been coaching with us.
That's awesome.
So that's great. This past summer we've had Justin Erickson coming back, Kerry Thomas. Justin Erickson's playing in Minnesota State. Kerry Thomas is playing at St. Norbert's. Tony Namowitz is playing up at St. Scholastica. So we got these guys coming back to work out here and there.
Sure.
And really, talking to the underclassmen about what it takes to play college football.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on your team this year a little bit. Obviously, you got some very good players coming back, including Sean Madden,
Right.
who could possibly be one of the best players in the conference. Is that a stretch or not?
No, not at all. I mean, he was up for the Player of the Year as well offensively with Chris Madden from Kenosha St. Joe's.
Right.
So.
Tell us a little bit about Sean. What makes him, that special player?
Well, Sean is a team player. He's a hard worker. He gets after it. He does everything that you ask him to do, and he's so unselfish. Doesn't care about carries. I mean, we had him one game. He carried the ball like 7 times for 100-some yards, and
Not a
didn't
bad
say
average.
anything.
He's not, and now again, here I am, small me. But he doesn't appear, when you're watching him at least, he doesn't appear that big, but he is hard to bring down.
Yeah, he's 220 pounds right now. 6'1", strong as an ox.
I mean, he
And,
can run over you. He can make you miss. I mean,
Yeah.
he's an impressive high school runner.
You know, the thing with Sean is that, he doesn't have that quick burst, that fast 20 or fast 40.
Right.
But you know what? Since he started running for us his sophomore year, he's never been caught from behind.
Is that right?
Never.
Wow.
He had a
that's
breakout 2 years ago. He had a breakout run against Milwaukee Lutheran, and one of their fastest linebackers was chasing him down. He had a 50-yard, and the kid never caught him.
Wow.
He just has that ability to accelerate. He has great vision. He does have quick feet for a
Yes,
big guy.
he
He's
does.
220 pounds.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
And I'm telling you, when you're watching him, or at least when I was watching him, he doesn't look that big. He doesn't look as big as he says when you're watching him. Because I'm on the sideline, I'm watching him like, man, he don't appear all that big when you're watching him play, but they were having all kinds of problems. And that's not the only running back you have. I mean, you're
No,
deep
not
at
at
that
all.
position.
Oh, definitely. Terrell King is an exceptional
That-
running back.
that-
I mean, I look at it as a 1-2, and it could be either way.
I
I mean,
love
Terrell
him.
King last
Love
year
him.
started off, the St. Joe's game, the Catholic Central game, started off the game with explosive runs.
Yes.
That really just set it, gave us a balance with both those backs. I mean, when Sean's in there, you're keying on him. When Terrell's in there, you might not be keying on him, and he's deadly.
Yeah.
So do
really
you
stood
expect
out.
to put up a lot of points? I mean, with this type of offense?
Well, we're gonna run the ball pretty well, I think.
I think you'll be okay.
And it starts with our offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 4 returning starters coming
There you
back.
go.
So that offensive line, I got Corey McDonald at right tackle, Brendan McGuire. We're looking at hopefully getting Chris Tuttle in at center. He's a sophomore coming in. He's the only
The guy
guy
with the
that
name
hasn't
Tuttle.
proven.
Yeah, he
play
sounds
center.
like a football player.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he's 6'1", 256, and
Wow.
he can squat 400 plus. I got Jose Ramirez on the left side, and Big Kelly Thomas, 6'6", 230.
That's a big kid.
And
How
so
much do you preach diet? I mean, you're doing the summer, you're doing speed and all that, and the weightlifting
Right,
and all
right.
that. But I mean, I know high school kids, where diet's not the biggest thing on their agendas.
Right.
I'll eat anything. I'm 16. I'll be fine. But especially with offensive linemen,
And
you're
you're
talking
37 and eating anything you want. You're,
Well,
you're
well,
fine too. So don't
But I'm not
get on
an-
these high school
Yeah,
kids
but
too much.
I'm not an athlete.
Well,
like
we
You're not an athlete.
we really got to preach nutrition. I mean, our boys are going both ways. We're not a big school,
Right.
so
Sure.
we're strong, we're fast, but they got to play both ways. They got to play the whole 4 quarters. They got to play special teams, so they have to be conscious of it. I mean, we get to a point where, and the boys will tell you, we go up to Cambridge for 3 days to Willow Bible Camp,
Oh,
and
wow.
we have a team building, kind of remember the Titans type
Sure.
thing. Team building activities. We got pride group championship games and stuff.
Nice.
But the boys will tell you the first thing we do when we put the plates on the table is they have to eat their vegetables and their fruit, because you eat that first so that the nutrients can get into the system before you eat your bread, your pasta, and all that stuff. So we break it down that quick.
Before you eat your meat, you're supposed to eat your...
Yeah, your vegetables, your fruits,
I've never
and everything
heard
like.
that.
Oh,
He doesn't-
I'm horrible.
He doesn't know what vegetables are. He's
No.
like, what's that?
Yeah,
Get
seriously.
your greens, man.
Like growing up, to this day, I'm still the same way. I only eat one thing at a time, right? So I don't mix. But I always start with the meat, and then I go in order of what I don't like after that. Or worse. So vegetables are normally second. Second are
You know
vegetables.
what? Julia Childs is
Right,
going to have you
and
two guys on
I
someday.
always end with the potatoes at the end. But I've never heard, and I trained for a marathon. I never heard
your
that.
bananas, your watermelon, your berries, all those things. You want to take those in right now.
Really?
And that might stem from, I also coach track at St.
Sure.
Pat's, so the sprinters and so on, and that's something that we did with my son. I mean, he won the state championship 2 years in a row.
Nice.
I mean, we're up at lacrosse, and we're going to Frizzoli's, and he's got his pasta right here. Nope, you got to eat your watermelon, you got to eat your berries and stuff first. And actually, you know what? To be real honest,
Look at this. This is
I got to
good
be real
stuff.
honest here, because this is all my wife.
Okay.
This is all Natasha right here. She went online, when he his first year when we were making it up to the state championships up in lacrosse for track, and she's looking at everything that he needs to do for his diet, and she goes, "Hey Dan, you know what? They should be eating their fruit and stuff first."
That is
And just
crazy.
broke it down, and since
Yeah.
that point, so So thanks a lot, Natasha.
Yeah, good job. First wife to get Bob's her eating healthy. That's good stuff.
You might want to get her under contract. There might be other high school coaches that might lure her away here as a nutritionist.
That's absolutely right.
So quickly on your defense, we talked about your offense. It sounds like you're loaded offensively. How's your defense shaping up?
Defense is solid. Obviously we lost those two seniors, and those are our two aces. We run a 3-5 defense, so those two outside linebackers are crucial.
Yep.
But Connor Nave is stepping up real strong in there on the strong side. We got EJ and Jack Letch, EJ Perkins and Jack Letch that are fighting it out on the other side. But other than that, we are returning everyone. And the biggest addition, hopefully comeback of the year award here will go to Luke Dragic. He was a nose guard, true fullback, which is our glorified guard basically. The kid he broke his leg in the third game last year. And that really that gave us a step back a little bit physically. He's a monster, and he does everything. He's teaching us a thing or two about working out and the type of lifting and the dynamics of everything. But he's back. He's healthy. He's squatting 600 again. That's what he squatted last year, 660.
Oh my God!
All right?
In high school.
And I just feel really bad for the guys he's blocking and the guys he's going to tackle.
Yeah, the other thing I like about your conference, you got some great coaches in that conference.
Oh, definitely.
Starting with you, but you go over to Racine Lutheran, you got Scott Smith. You go out to Catholic Central, you got Tom Aldridge. Yeah. How are those teams, from your perspective, looking? I mean, these guys are obviously right at the top of their professions.
For sure. Tom is such a class act. I mean, you just look up to the guy. He's been doing it for so many years, and just being so humble. Being so gracious, knowing that he's got a great system. He's got a great coaching staff. And they're doing the same thing each and every year. It's just a matter of putting the pieces together.
Right. It's almost like they reload every year.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And he'll say, "Oh, we're down," and you know what? They're really not.
Right.
You have to be on your A game. We call it the angel game.
Yeah.
Every time you play them.
Okay.
And Scotty Smith, he does a great job with the youth program, the RYS kids. He brings those kids in. And he also gets it going as far as schematics, defense, and so on. And that's where I feel truly blessed. And I want to just give a shout out to my coaches. I've had a nucleus of a coaching staff that's been with me for 10 to 15 plus years.
Wow.
And that doesn't happen often anymore.
No, it doesn't. And I just hope that they don't try and take another job or decide to retire anytime soon, because we're on such a great roll right now. But the dedication that my coaching staff puts in, especially we talked about that huddle program, that you can break down tendencies and each play and where they're running down in distance and so on, and what kind of defense they're running in certain situations. I mean, they're spending countless hours preparing the game plan for our boys, and last year was just indicative of how great we were able to really break down that offense and defense of our opponent.
I get one other thing. A couple of weeks ago, I ran into a parent of a St. Catherine's player who played multiple sports, okay?
Sure.
And he paid you, I think, the ultimate compliment. He goes, "I wish every coach was like Dan Miller. The enthusiasm that he gave my kid." He said that kid wasn't all enthusiastic about football, but he started playing for Dan. He became enthusiastic about football. And I think that's, an ultimate compliment to a coach,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
Good deal. He is the head coach at St. Cat's. He is Dan Miller, and his wife Natasha will teach you how to eat right. Gery Woelfel over there with the Racine Journal-Times. I see Sparky Fifer. Right, I see Sparky Fifer. Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Sports Junkies.
The Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase. Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase. Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.